what I'm going to share is how you go about evaluating your investments. Today there is enough opportunities out there, और हम evaluate कैसे करते हैं. So we started how we started out, but then most importantly, before you invest, during the process of investment, and post investment, क्या करते हैं. And Salji, great. I met you. I met you earlier in the month, last month, and it was great to have you there. Congrats to getting this milestone of 100 crores. Add one more zero, because the GDP is growing too fast. I'll share that here. This is where we are. How we did. We started in 2016 one investment, and then we have two funds now. We have one of the earliest VC fund, which has both an angel fund and a Cat 2 fund. But this is only the history, the journey, and how we evolved. But it's not about Auxano. It is about how we, in this room and outside this room, can make the ecosystem strong, how we can make better investments, and how we can also make founders accountable, and at the same point of time as investors, we make multiple exits. So let me start with the framework which we do. So we review typically 100 odd deals. There are 50 evaluation parameters. Analyst call. Then you have stakeholder diligence. It's very important. Customers, suppliers, founders, existing and potential investors, competitors, everybody. Then you have investment committee review. We have 3 board members who actually put forth the opportunities. And then we have an expression of interest. Then we have a third-party diligence, financial, legal, regulatory. I'll take you through all of that in a microsecond. Then we have a transactional document, which is called SSA, SHA, very important. Then we share an investor note to our LPs. And then the investment is made, and then the portfolio tracking happens. Then again, every quarter we give a communication to our investors. This is how the whole process flow happens. And this is the synopsis. The next one. So this is how let's see what happens during pre-investment stage. So this is our own proprietary scorecard analysis. It's basically 9 blockers. Within these 9 blockers, there are 50 to 60 or more cues or poses which we make, starting from a problem statement to competitor analysis, to a business model, to funding requirements, to product and service, technology, traction. Because data speaks, the panelists just said, data speaks. So how we can collate data, understand data, assimilate data, and then move forward with the data, that becomes the most important part. आजकल तो बहुत सारी चीजें नए आए हुए हैं. There's CM1, CM2, CM3. When we did our child accountancy, we didn't have 1, 2, and 3. There's something called GTV, GMV. क्या होता है GTV, GMV? Someone wants to share? So you got an e-commerce platform. The total revenue which comes into play would be the GMV. But लेकिन उस GMV में से जो commission मिलता है, that would be the GTV, gross transactional value. So it is very important for one to know that what are the parameters you are looking at, what are the elements you are looking at. Then adjusted EBITDA, एक कुछ नहीं होता, सिर्फ EBITDA होता है. So let's not fall into the false trap of adjusted EBITDA. If someone talks about that, then I would not recommend. I will not go forward with that at all. We don't know what adjusted EBITDA is all about. Operational burn, net burn, cash flow. Cash flow is the key. Yeah, valuation, vanity है, multiple excess, Methodology both है, DCF है, income method है. In DCF, like if you can change one parameter, and you can get the valuation you want, one parameter. Can you say? Any one parameter you can change in DCF, you can get the valuation you want. One more, सबसे बड़ा है. But discounting is one of the parameters, but you can change the terminal value. You change the terminal value, you can have fun. मल्टीपल्स क्या होता है नहीं पता, कि मेरे फ्यूचर मल्टीपल्स इतने होंगे, वो उसको भी फ्यूचर के फ्यूचर होता है, तो फोरकास्टिंग तो पता ही नहीं क्या होता है, तो वी हैव टू बी इन रियलिटी. Then see, when we make an investment, ESOP also comes into play, because अगर जब आप निवेश करते हो, ESOP अगर cap table में नहीं होता है, rest assured when a bigger investor comes in, you are going to get diluted. So that, and other part, the second part is that you also have to take care of your existing employees who wants to be part of it. So it is a conjunction. It all runs. It is like a juggernaut. And then one more thing you should do: what is the pre-money and post valuation which you have in play? Next one, sir. Agla. Okay, previous slide. So that was pre-investment. So once the committee says yes, you can go ahead. You get a term sheet. You come to the during investment. So that is where diligence comes into play. Financial, regulatory, legal. Many times what we have seen is that when asked for diligence, you get an investor note. Investor note is different from diligence. This is something which we look into. The next slide. Both important. The founder diligence क्या करता है? In fact, many times when we have breakfast, lunch, and dinners multiple times with founder just to understand in various ways how does he behave, because you are not into a one night stand, you are into a relationship. So, and a relationship for a long period of time, because this is not a place where stock market में आज 20% ऊपर गया तो पैसा निकाल सकते हो, बिल्कुल नहीं. It's a 3, 5, 7 year kind of a relationship which is there in play. So founder is important. Expert level which you get into play, and then way for due diligence. इसके अगर पहले round raise करा हो and if there is any document is not done, then that's something like conditions precedent, and then investments करने के बाद आपको क्या करना चाहिए subsequent. This coming to play. The next slide. This is again important round construct कि how is it being done, the type of securities है जो CCPS कर रहे हैं या CCD कर रहे हैं, terms and conditions क्या होता है, investors and founders obligations क्या होता है, investors rights क्या है, founders rights क्या है, founders agreement आपने कराया कि नहीं, फिर what are the representation guarantees लिखे हुए हैं, उसका मतलब क्या होता है, क्या sometimes someone, if in the case when something fraud has happened or and you don't know, do we have any guarantees for that? So those come into play. So this is what, and then the compliance which happens in play. The next slide. Post investment. So we talk about pre, we talk about during, we talk about post investments क्या होता है. Next slide. This is very important because you need to get what data you want. So for profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow, regulatory compliances, secretarial compliances, we should get that into play. Now, what are the support you require? Because you are not in only for the money, you are also supporting in various other functions. That is something which you want to give. Now, then investments. Because the valuation is very frothy. So you should not put in only because others are putting the money in. So you have your own opportunity, you can take your stand. Don't get into the FOMO part of it. So come mal 500 में नहीं खरीदना चाहिए. So it takes a lot of courage, but then yes, courage is one thing which as entrepreneurs we all do in this place. Second thing which we need to look into is that what is a party? Party around, you're getting 2 lakh check, 5 lakh check, and so low hota hai. And if the company becomes big, then the new investor who wants to come in wants to take everybody out. So in that case, you may also get out. You may also have to move out. So try to take a decent, substantial stake in the whole enterprise. The third part which comes into play is that you should do your own diligence. You cannot say that only because big names came into play, you also can take support or take comfort. Why? Because they review from their own lenses. You are reviewing from your own lenses. So that is something which you have to take into play. The fourth part, again comes to diligence, is that you have, if you're not comfortable with anything, you have to say no. You have to say no to it. Opportunities still come. Because if you look into the whole paradigm which you have to play, you are beautifully placed. Excuse me. I'll tell you one thing, India today is a 3.5 trillion GDP. Can you tell me for the first trillion, it took how many years? The first trillion. 60 years. The second trillion, 12 years. The third trillion, it took less than 5 years. So we are today at 3.5 trillion GDP. And if you say we want to go double this in the next 5 years, look at the opportunities which are looking at both in the public markets and in the private markets. That is one part. If you look at the stock markets, and if I compare the S&P 500, the S&P 500 over a period of 3 years, if I start from 2020 till March, and I talk about Dolex. Dolex is the Nifty adjusted for the currency appreciation, depreciation. Even that, the India's Dolex is outperformed S&P by $100,000. That's an opportunity which is coming into play. So then to look into that part, it is huge. So you talked about the startup space, you're talking about the public market space, you're talking about India as a country. One last thing. Which app got the fastest 50 million downloads in less than 2 weeks? Absolutely, 13 days. Okay, so this is health. Which was the second one? Who want to play? Second one. Pokemon, 19 days. So when you see who is the biggest startup in the government of India, I talked about 3 things. ONDC, you want to make a huge difference. You're talking about UPI, which has already made a huge difference. And you're talking about OCEN, credit lending, which is going to become huge, and that's going to become a huge difference. So this is the space where you want to put money, make money, but having said that, I've shared some of the learnings which you have done, some of the approaches you've got to make when you consider making investments. And that's how I just plan to, we are a $50 million fund. We are also operating in GIFT City, for getting some licenses there. And this is the whole thing we do. We put our own money, nearly we over 10% of our own money is put in the fund. And that is where we say these are the things which we do as such. So any questions you can ask, I'm there. And thank you very much.